Welcome back in. We are in the Pirate fan zone. Before we jump in, and since we are in the Pirate fan zone, I'll start with saying Lubbock Cooper's game has been moved. They will note they are playing Thursday night, 6 p.m. at Memorial Stadium in Wichita Falls against Wichita Falls Memorial, right here on 100.7 The Score. Game got moved because of pending weather in that part of the state, but just make sure you make a note of that. They'll be on the radio, but hop in your car and go watch the Pirates play. They need you out there. That's a fun environment. That's a fun rivalry, unless I don't know, Chip may disagree about the fun part, but it's an entertaining from a non-coaching perspective rivalry. That's the major change in the schedule this week. Trinity Christian's game at Grapevine Faith has been moved to 5 p.m. Friday. That's the only change so far. Before we jump into the Pirate fan zone, I want to go through this one more time. Lubbock High trainer Anthony Peppers, been there 39 years, which I believe means he got there the year I was a senior in high school. Whew, that's a few years ago.
God,
he is encountering some health issues right now, and the good folks at Mighty Wash are trying to give back to Pep and his family. They're having a day called Wash for Pep Day. That's this Saturday, October 25th. I believe it's at every location in town. If you will go get your car washed, $1 is donated for every car that's washed, $5 donated for every membership sold. Their goal is to wash 4,000 cars, and if they do that, if you guys will do that, then Mighty Wash will pony up another $1,000. You can also grab a $25 Mighty Wash Protect Wash, I think, which is, I don't know if that's a... Oh, okay, I see. That's one of their car washes. You can get it for $12 online. If you do that, 50% of every sale goes directly to Coach Pep and his family. And I guess you don't have to do that on Saturday. You can buy that and use it whenever. So, great guy, has done an awful lot for Lubbock High kids, for kids in Lubbock. He's just one of those people that make high school sports go. You know a little bit about a guy who coached somewhere for a long time.
Well, he's I just feel like when I think of Lubbock High athletics, I think of him. And,
yep.
As good a person as there is out there, so be good to support him.
And every school's got great trainers, and it's been cool to see a lot of, I believe your trainers pop something up on social media kind of supporting him. That's a very tight-knit community.
Yep.
Because that's a very specialized, very important in high school sports in particular. So
yeah, it is.
Go get your car washed. Help Pep out. He's a very unassuming guy. Juan Rodriguez told me that he doesn't like all this attention on him right now, but that's okay, Pep. Just let people help you out. Sometimes everybody needs a little help. So Pirates you guys don't need help. You've got destiny right there in the palm of your hands these next few weeks, starting Thursday night. Let me say that again, Thursday night, 6 p.m. against Wichita Falls Memorial at Memorial Stadium. Lost a tough game last week against Palo Duro, 36-33, but I talked to Chip and a couple of his guys today. I wasn't at the game, but I followed along. Very impressed with how these guys bounced back, because the week before was no fun. They lost at Abilene Cooper, and that could kind of punch a hole in your season. The fight that you guys showed, Chip, though, and I said this earlier today, for 7 years now, when I talk about Lubbock Cooper football, I talk about you guys fight and just how tough you are, tough-minded you are, and I think that showed up last Friday against Palo Duro.
Yeah, the result was not what we wanted, and we're kind of in a results-based society and world, but we've got to be better than we were. We want to win the games, but it was a good response. And I think the biggest thing was we were really looking for what our response to adversity would be. Just in football and life, you're going to face adversity. How do you respond? And you mentioned the game that I don't want to talk about 2 weeks ago, that we did not respond to adversity well at all, and it snowballed on us. And I thought there were a lot of chances for it to snowball Friday night, and it didn't. These guys like Koby just kept playing and played hard, and it was a much better game on that front. I thought we played together more. We didn't point fingers when something bad happened. We just kept playing, and then you see it. I watched film, and I'm dissecting our film, but I was real intrigued with our sideline, and our sideline was more excited than we've been in a long time, and happy and cheering for each other, and that stuff matters. And I think the ball's going to bounce our way at some point, and we keep playing like that. I think good things will happen to us.
All right, Koby. Coach has probably heard me say this 100 times. high school sports, coaches have a lot to do with it. Very important. With the Jimmies and Joes, you guys are the ones who have to make it happen. What did you guys do so much better? What changed for you guys the other night?
I think we just stopped pointing fingers at each other. I mean, that game against Abilene Cooper, and we just really struggled. One thing went wrong, and then we just let it snowball from there. But that Palo Duro game, we were much more positive and much more encouraging to one another and a lot more caring, and we looked like an actual team on that sideline and on that field.
Chip, you'll like to hear this. That's the third young man I've spoken to wears red and black that said almost that exact same thing about caring about each other. And again, coaches can say, do this. These guys are the ones that have to kind of wrap their mind around it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing, like, especially the caring part and the team bonding part of it that matters so much. I think it matters in any team sport, but, man, it really does in football. And it really does the way we do things. We've got a few kids that kind of play both sides of the ball, but for the most part, everybody plays one side and then mixes in on special teams. And it's just real easy to say, man, offense isn't doing anything, I'm going to be frustrated, or vice versa. And we had some of that going on early, and but yeah, it's up to these guys, and I think they're having fun again. And I've noticed it in practice. You can see the energy in practice, and usually this time of year is where you're having to try to pull a little energy out of them,
right.
But we're not having to with this group. It's fun times at practice this week, and I think that speaks for how they played on Friday.
I said this to your two guys I spoke to today. It may sound weird. There is pressure because you guys need to win these two games to get to the playoffs. That's bottom line. But maybe the pressure's off a little bit because of what you said. Now they can just be themselves, go out and play football and play like they did the other night. And like I think you said earlier today, results are results. But if you get that out of them, if you and your coaches get that out of them for the next two games, how could you be unhappy?
Absolutely. And we do. We've got goals. Want to make the playoffs, want to make a run. And so we'd be disappointed if that doesn't happen. But you ultimately got to put your best foot forward. Like, you just have to play the way you know how to play. And if you do and it doesn't go your way, then you respond in a different way. But, the challenge, and I know we'll talk about the opponent coming up, but there's a lot of challenges. But I believe in our guys, and I think that's the thing, and I think they believe in each other.
We will talk about that opponent, Wichita Falls Memorial, which got their first district win last week. We'll come back after this break, and talk more in the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Breaking down Lubbock Cooper sports. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the High School Fan Zone. We're going to jump into some more Lubbock Cooper stuff real quick here, just real fast. Started something new here on the High School Fan Zone. We do a Girls and Boys Player of the Week. We announced the Girls Player of the Week last night. It is Coronado volleyball player Haley Parrott Curtis in two matches that Coronado won, and I believe last night they clinched a playoff spot. They're tied with the Lubbock Cooper Lady Pirates, tied for, I guess, third place in that district behind two heavyweights, Amarillo High and Tascosa. That's in. Your girls in Coronado split. It's been, I believe, 2 5-set matches. It's been really fun, competitive volleyball between those two. Haley Parrott Curtis in two matches had 30 digs and 25 kills. She was especially big in a 5-set victory against Caprock when she led the Lady Mustangs with 16 digs and 14 kills. She's one of those players that's just been around. I mean, it's her third year on varsity, I believe. Boys Player of the Week is somebody that Chip Darden and the Lubbock Cooper Pirates have gotten to know pretty well the last few years. Chase Campbell from Friendship. I put that he was at his dynamic best last week against Midland Legacy, and I started to think he was pretty good that night against Lubbock Cooper.
He was.
But the Pirates got the win.
Yep. We'll
54 to 53.
57, 56 maybe.
A lot of points.
A lot of points
on the board. But last week, Chase Campbell, before he got hurt with 8.5 minutes left in the third quarter of a game that Friendship actually lost 45 to 42. Before that, he had 6 receptions for 126 yards, including a 90-yard catch and run on Friendship's first snap after they got a turnover. Also had another one-handed touchdown catch. My wife was with me at that game, and her eyes got big, and I said, it's like his third best catch this year. That's old hat for that dude. He also completed a pair of passes, one for a touchdown and another on a really cool-looking jump pass that converted a 4th down. So congratulations to those two. Since we talked about that was a big win for Lubbock Cooper. Tascosa was a big win for Lubbock Cooper. This is a team that has beaten really good teams. there's no reason to believe you can't take care of business these next few weeks. You don't want to hang your hat on something that happens in September, but Koby, do you guys have confidence that this is a team that starting tomorrow night can go out and take that step that you want to take?
Yes, I have full confidence in us and what we can do. We saw it earlier in the season before district had started, and we played great defense and great offense those 4 first weeks, and I think we can for sure pick it up and do it again.
All right, so I don't want to steer people away from the podcast that Chip and I did earlier today, but you said something that caught my attention, Chip, that last year, kind of role reversal here, you won your first 4 district games and sputtered a little bit in the last 2. Maybe fate is a little bit different this year. Maybe now is when you kind of find your rhythm, find your groove, and head into the playoffs on a high note.
Yeah, and we not like we were trying to lose some of the games that we've lost here in district, but we also put a big emphasis on finishing these last 2 weeks, and we changed how we practice a little bit this year. We've done a lot of morning practices to stay out of the heat. We kind of thought with the Week 11 open week that maybe that'll make us have fresh legs here at the end, and we'll see. I mean, I think our practices have been good. That maybe we're seeing some value in that, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think there's still a possibility of finishing third, which is where we finished last year, and I think kind of our theme this week has been, think about the difference, and we finished third last year and what the disappointment and kind of the errors led out going into the playoffs, where this one would be total opposite and have a lot of momentum going into the playoffs. And so there's a lot of stuff that has to happen. You can't win 2 games before you win 1. I mean, we've got a really big one that we've got to have tomorrow, and I'm excited to see them because I think this group is maybe we hit the valley and we're starting to head towards the peak is what I'm hoping.
There you go. That's what you said earlier. I'm glad you brought it because I wasn't going to remember it. The thing about the playoffs, and I think you guys proved this a little bit last year, and I bet Alito would agree with this. Doesn't matter what spot you're in. If you get in, you're in the tournament.
That's right.
You went down, found it against Canutillo, and gave Alito everything they wanted. So I think if you guys will kind of find some of that, I think you guys have a good chance. Coach has mentioned a couple times the practices being a little bit more energetic. Has it been fun this week?
Yes, it has been a lot of fun, and I think we have been more energetic for sure. And those early morning practices probably help us just stay out of the heat and just get a little break in the afternoon, so we have more energy coming into it.
So I've got a high school kid at home. She's a girl. She's not much of a morning person. I don't know if I'd be able to get her up.
They don't have a ton of energy right off the bat, but we usually do some things to get them going. And once it's going, those morning practices are good.
All right, Koby, is it a coach or a player that gets the energy going?
I think the coaches do a great job of it, but I think in the end, us players can really bring it towards the end of the practice for sure, and then going into our period practice.
Is there one guy that's kind of in charge of that? One player?
I'd say our captain, Papa. He does a great job at bringing energy.
That's the one I was going to guess. Sione Vea. Say his name.
Sione Vea.
There we go. Coming up on the last break, we'll come back to talk more about morning practices and how to get fired up. Actually, we'll talk more about football in the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock Cooper Athletics. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Pirate Fan Zone. We got one more segment of this show, one more segment of the high school fan zone for this week, and then we shift our attention to football, which starts Thursday night. Not just in Lubbock. There is a game in Lubbock. Coronado entertains Amarillo High at Lowry Field on 96.9 The Bull, but there's a game out of town as well, because the Lubbock Cooper Pirates game got shifted to Thursday night against Wichita Falls Memorial at Memorial Stadium. That's got to confuse folks out in Wichita Falls. The poor Legacy folks probably that feel like they don't have a home stadium. That is 6 p.m. Thursday. We'll be right here on 100.7 The Score. Tommy Wood told me he's jumping on the bus with you guys.
Yeah.
Get him up there to entertain you. It'd be on the way. That man can talk.
He knows not to talk too much on the bus. Yeah, you got to be serious on the bus.
Yeah, he used to do this show, and I think a few of you told me that once in a while, producer would be waving to the commercial break, and Tommy would kind of just breeze on through. So
yeah, there's there's an ability to get into break, and I'm not gonna lie, I rate you every week on how you get to break, if it's good or bad.
I've gotten better.
I'll let
Joe,
you know.
If Joe Sexton's listening, I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit too, because Joe doesn't care. Joe just keeps talking.
Yeah.
And again, Koby, I'll tell you the same thing I told you between breaks here. When it's me and Coach Darden or Coach Sexton, Coach Northcutt, a few others, I get completely lost because we'll just start chatting, and then my poor producer will be in there waving at me like.
I know the hand signals now, so I know when to wrap it up too on the answer.
So Koby, if you see him going crazy in there, just stick an elbow in my ribs, so I don't go over too much. You asked, let's see, Idalou is at home against Littlefield, playing Littlefield Wildcats. That's a big one for them. And then am I right that Slayton's pretty good this year?
They are. Yep, they're pretty good.
And that's who the Wildcats have next at Slayton. Who's the coach at Slayton?
Clint Conkin.
Is that one of your guys?
No, I know him. Used to be at Littlefield, but just know him, and he was at Clarendon. Family friend. Coached his son.
Before I launched the site, one of the games I went and covered for the AJ was Slayton and Post. I believe they call it the War on 84, something like that.
They might. I know they call it the War on 84 originally is Muleshoe Littlefield.
That may be it, yeah.
That's maybe the South War on 84.
I think you're right, because Jason Richards, the Memorial coach who was at Muleshoe, he took his young boys they played the Littlefield varsity a few weeks ago, and he was worried about getting booed because he still was recognized as Muleshoe. You've never been booed, have you?
Nah, never.
Never?
Yeah, I've been booed by my wife. Heck, I get booed every day.
That's a happy marriage right there.
All good.
Koby, you learn life lessons when you come on the radio here. So I promised we'd talk about it. Wichita Falls Memorial they're 5-2. They actually started 0-2 in district, and I would imagine there was probably some worry on their part, because coming into this, I think I told Chip, a lot of people had texted me, who's going to win this district? And they said, it seems to be Lubbock Cooper and Wichita Falls Memorial are the two teams. That first week, it got flipped around quickly. You guys won your second district game, so you kind of righted the ship a little bit. They didn't. They did win last week against Abilene Wiley, but they've got a lot of dudes back that you guys have seen last year, brothers of people you've seen for years before. Really good quarterback, Koby, and you're a secondary guy. Are you kind of eager to see what you guys can do against, is this Jed Castles?
Jed's elder brother, Joe.
Joe Castles, big 6'7" quarterback. What do you guys have to do against him to be effective?
I believe we just have to be able to cover downfield really, really well. I mean, we've seen how he can throw the ball extremely well, and I think, but our tight coverage and the coverages that we have put in for specific things will help us a lot, and then that D-line will help us a lot too, just getting pressure.
As Joe has thrown for 1,410 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but they also have a guy who has rushed for 765, and Chip told me this earlier. They're a balanced offense they're going to find a way to get you off balance a little bit and figure out how to attack you, which you guys, that's been the story of your offense most of this season. I'm going to throw a bouquet out to Shemaine, because when you get a high school kid carries 32 times, first of all, he's tough. Second of all, to me, that's a sign of commitment that a kid we talked about earlier, doesn't mind that every carry is not going to go for a home run.
Right.
I'm going to guess that's a guy that's probably pretty prominent in the game plan this week.
Yeah, every week, and I think everybody knows we like to run the ball, but as good as they are on offense, if we've got the ball, we got Castle sitting on the sideline. That's usually good for us.
Defense.
So yeah, and we're gonna play our game, and we trust our defense and feel good about the game plan that we've got. But Shemaine will be a big part of it with our O-line, and then it should be a fun game. We're excited to play.
Two teams that have played a lot. Wichita Falls Memorial used to be Wichita Falls Rider. Not everybody, but it's been a great kind of long-distance rivalry the last several years. And just one more time to repeat, it is now 7 or 6 p.m. Thursday night, Wichita Falls Memorial against Lubbock Cooper at Memorial Stadium, right here on 100.7 The Score, which is where you can come back next week and listen to the High School Fan Zone. I'm Randy Rosetta. We'll be back next week.